And I think we're good.
Okay.
Got to mute YouTube because a lot of feedback. So, hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Charlie, Cooking Secrets from Ben. And we've got Karen from In the Kitchen with Karen.
And hey, everybody.
Thanks for showing up, Karen.
You're so welcome.
So Karen and I have kind of followed each other for a couple of years, and I thought some of the work she does is interesting. And as you read and talk about her bio and some of the stuff that she's done and where she comes from, it makes a lot more sense. So in your bio, there's one thing I wanted to ask because it's escaped me from your welcome to your channel. Quick and easy recipes, including simply off the grid. Morning, guys. Quick and easy recipes. Singing my song. Appetizers, salads, main dishes, and desserts. So try to use less than 10 ingredients. Always a good, a good goal. Most recipes are 30 minutes or less. Good. So that's weekday stuff. Used to be a column in the Washington Post eons ago called Dinner Tonight, and what they did was meals you can make in 30 minutes or less.
Nice. Yeah. So, I'm all about that.
Yeah. They've since renamed the column, but it's still pretty much the same. And that's, I must have 100 Dinner Tonight Washington Post recipes. A lot of them that I've put on, that I've made for years. And did I show you to make? This is the one that I wanted to question you on.
Oh, okay.
I also show you how to make a selection of cocktails to go with your dishes. So that I've seen a whole cocktail. Have you made a lot of cocktails recently that I've missed?
No. You know what? I kind of have been slacking on the cocktails. So I need to.
Can't slack on your cocktails.
I know. Well, what happened was, I started my channel the summer of 2020 during the pandemic, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I was stuck at home. I was laid off from my job. So I just started making all these different cocktails and like posting them. But then lately, like the last, 6 months or a year, I haven't really done too many of those. I have done some wine reviews, but I definitely want to get more back into the cocktails. And I have recently done some shorts with cocktails, but not like a regular video. So
yeah. I saw that. I said, I'm not sure I've seen a bunch of cocktails on
Karen's
channel. So I would like to encourage you to do that.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get back into that.
Good. And you'll share your, I'm not going to say the number, years of experience, multiple years of experience.
Lots of experience, yeah.
Right. And you went to culinary school in the ICA?
I went to two different ones. I went to the American Personal Chef Institute in San Diego, and then also the CIA Greystone in St. Helena.
And St. Helena is in Napa?
Yeah, Napa Valley.
Okay. How was the Culinary Institute?
Amazing. That place is amazing. Yeah.
Were you there for an extended period? Was it
No, I was only there 3 months. I took like an intensive course. And I also got like my kitchen manager certification because I was working at a facility where I needed that. And but I also took classes too. So it was really great. And then we a lot of times we got to serve people in the restaurant. You could come in and like have a pretty reasonable meal cooked by students. So that was really fun.
I think there's probably that down the street here. There's I shouldn't say down the street in the city of Milwaukee. There's the Milwaukee Area Technical College where they have a culinary institute in there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go out on a limb and say the food at the Culinary Institute of America may be a step above Milwaukee Area Technical College's culinary. No offense to anybody from AATC online.
Maybe just a little.
Yeah, maybe just a little. But I would love to do that at some point. I think it would be interesting. So I've seen other cooking schools online, documentaries and the like. where they, I mean, they basically start you from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
On, this is this is the way you stir. This is the way you whisk.
Exactly.
Um, there's are you a sports fan at all?
A little.
So probably maybe before your time, there's a coach at UCLA was John Wooden.
Mm-hmm.
John Wooden was one of the greatest coaches of all time. UCLA won, I think, 12 championships in 14 years back in the 60s, 70s, and then 60s and 70s. Anyway, the way they started practice every year at the beginning of the season, these are college kids they're national champions. They've won multiple national champions. They learn how to tie their shoes. I'm serious. How to put on your socks so you don't get blisters.
Yeah.
And how to tie your shoes.
Well, that's what, those are the kinds of things that we learned in home ec, but they don't have home ec anymore.
Right. Well, I think that's what Culinary Institute and other the really good cooking schools do is they start you out on the very basics.
Yes.
And then work you up to some of the more the harder stuff. But that's interesting. Talk a little bit about your background as both a personal chef and a caterer. Both of those would seem to be there's a confluence there because depending on what your duties are as a personal chef,
right?
And then catering is an event here, an event there. It's not a
right.
Okay.
Yeah, my main business was personal chefing in Napa Valley for 10 years. And so I cooked for many winery owners, celebrities, and very rich people in general. And they're very demanding. And but it was a really fun experience. And then occasionally I would do catering for small weddings or bridal showers, things of that sort. But my main focus was on the personal chef business. And I did that for many years, but then I got divorced and it's not what I would say steady income where you're getting the same paycheck every week. Right. So that's when I moved into a more 9-to-5 job as a food director for a facility. But yeah, I had a great time doing that. And I still do the occasional dinner party for people.
Yeah, I've done some catering. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. And then I have had a woman said, well, can you cater a party for about 150 this summer at an outdoor venue? And I'm thinking, no.
Right.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I specialized in like 50 people or less. Because I didn't have a big staff or anything, and I didn't even have all the equipment for that size of a project. So I would do small gatherings.
Well, I'm assuming that the laws in California are probably similar to most places where you have to have a professional kitchen to be able to sell to the public.
Right.
Exactly. If you're giving it away, then that's one thing. That's different. But if you're selling to the public, that's the personal chefs thing. Because I've toyed with the idea of. Let me back up. So up in Michigan, where we go in the summers, there's a little grocery store called NJ's in Lake Leelanau, Michigan, and they have this big refrigerator in the front of the store where they serve Indian food. This is white bread, upper Michigan, where anyway, so there's not a lot of ethnicity, both in the community and then in dining. There's a lot of fish, but so they sell this and it's wonderful. It's very, very good. So the people that own the store are Indian and they make a lot of dishes and sell them out of the fridge. So I had been thinking, because I'm going to retire up there, that's something I might like to do.
Yeah.
Get my own case at some store and, fill it up with bad food that I make.
I actually used to do that. I worked for a place that did meals to go. And we used to do like pans of lasagna and, different kind of dishes. And we would sell them for like $30 for like 4 people, servings for 4 servings. And I did that for a few years, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I'd like to do something, but the problem that I would run into there is that I'm sure you don't know the geography of northern Michigan, but there's some professional kitchens in Traverse City, which is kind of towards the west on Lake Michigan. So if I'm on Lake Michigan right here, and if I look across 150 miles, I'd see Michigan. And that's where my house is on the other side. But the place where the kitchen is to be able to prepare food, to be able to sell to people is in Traverse City. So I'd have to either find something that's closer and use a kitchen, or driving to Traverse City every day, which it's like 45 minutes to the big city of Traverse City. But it's something I've thought about. And the last thing in your bio, which I really like, it says, "I'm happiest when I'm in the kitchen," hence the name of my channel. So that's my wife calls my happy place, is being in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I love doing it. So you mentioned that you started your channel around the time of the pandemic.
The end of August 2020.
Okay. And so did you do it because you didn't have anything else to do?
Yes. That's exactly why I did it. Okay. I was sitting around day after day because I had lost my job, but I was getting unemployment, but I was still like so bored. And so my friends were like, you should start a YouTube channel. You like to cook. And I'm like, I don't know anything about that. I barely even watch YouTube. Right. And so, but one day my husband recorded me cooking. I think my first dish was beef stroganoff out in the backyard. We made this like little makeshift kitchen. It was horrible. So, your first couple videos are never good. No. And so I posted it, and then I got some views, and then I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. And I just kept posting and posting. And in like 3 months, I had like 1,000 subscribers. And maybe it was 4 months. And I was just like, holy cow. So I was just like, I'll just keep doing it. So I've just been doing it.
Well, I enjoy your channel, and you've got a lot of interesting stuff that we'll get to some of my favorites in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sort of what I would call a mutt channel. I don't specialize in any one thing, so, and I know a lot of channels do, like they have air fryer recipes or barbecue or that sort of thing, but I kind of go all over the place.
Yeah, I'm with you. I cook, and it's what I cook for dinner, or what I'm cooking for the weekend or whatever. So
exactly. Most of what I cook, well, I'd say at least like 60 or 70% of everything I cook is something I'm already going to make anyway.
Right.
So otherwise you kind of go broke with all the cost of the groceries.
Yeah. Now I like you, I like easy recipes. The simpler, the better. Mm-hmm. Part of the theory of what started my channel a while ago was that 77% of the chefs in restaurant are men, but most men don't cook.
Interesting. Okay.
So, my wife is an executive, still working, and I've retired. So I had all the flexibility to deal with I have 2 boys growing up. So I would take care of them in the morning. I would get dinner ready at night. Did a lot. She's an excellent cook, but I just did a lot of the cooking. But in that, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm going how can I make this simpler?
Right.
So that's a lot of the stuff I do is shortcuts that I've learned, and I try to throw them out as much as possible. And then we have the international collabs, which I do want to talk to, that are not like that.
Right.
They're the difference. So for those of you just joining us, I'm Charlie with Cooking Secrets from Man. This is Karen from In the Kitchen with Karen, and we're chatting about our respective channels and what we like to do and what we're so how did you get to Northern California?
I moved out here from Ohio when I was 10 or 11, I believe,
Uh-huh.
and I've been here ever
What
since.
part of Ohio?
Akron. I was born
Okay.
in Akron.
You
Yeah.
and LeBron.
Yep, exactly.
My son looked at Akron. We're from Ohio. Well, I said we're not from. I'm from DC. My kids grew up in Cincinnati,
Okay.
um, and then when they were starting to look at colleges, we were in Cincinnati and look at all the state colleges, the state schools. So Akron was one of them on the way up to Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah, I went
Um,
to University of Akron.
yeah, um, yeah. I kind of like the campus. It's certainly an urban one, uh,
Hmm.
but he had no interest in it. He
Yeah.
also went. We didn't even get out the car at Kent State. We went to Kent State. He goes, looked around, and goes, nah, I'm not. No.
Oh, oh.
Which is what they say when you look at and take your kids to school. There are times when they won't even get out of the car.
Right.
So you basically grew up in California.
In California, yeah, mostly. Hmm.
All right. So you have kids?
I do. I have one son. He is 36, and he's
Huh.
married. And I have
36. How's that possible?
I know. I was only 5 when I had him. Let's see. I have 2 grandsons who are 3 and 8,
Uh-huh.
and I
Where do they
babysit them.
live?
I babysit them every week, and
Oh,
they live right near San Francisco.
okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have. It's nice for the kids to have a built-in babysitter.
Hmm.
Grandma, can you come over, Grandma?
Yes. Oh, all the time.
Yeah, I have got no marriages on the horizon for either boy. One lives with his girlfriend, but they ain't getting married anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll happen.
It's okay. I mean, Milwaukee is not their home. I mean, my youngest son went here to high school for 2 years and then went out to Montana for college. My oldest son never lived here. He went to school he went to Miami, Ohio. Then he went to University of Tampa, that's where he graduated. And then he got his graduate degree at USF, which is also in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not their home. And there's no reason for them to feel that they should come back and want to be here, which I understand.
Sure.
But we do have our place. We're talking about building a retirement home up in Michigan. So that's what we're going to do at some point.
That's fun.
Well, we own the land, which is
Building a house, I hear, is pretty intense.
Yeah. Well, we're about 10% in, and all we've gone through is legal mumbo jumbo, and so this is a family plot. There's 14 acres on the lake, and there's 2 acres down on the main house, and then up above there's 12 acres. It's all wooded, and we're going to build up in the wooded area, and it's owned in partnership with my wife and 3 of her siblings. But just trying to get through the transfer of property and the easements that you need. And this is before we even put a shovel in the ground.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So we're dealing with that. Now we have architects, and we're moving in the right direction. But anyway, so that's the only place where there's a commonality with my boys, where they might feel they could come and hang out.
Yeah. Awesome.
So are you working right now?
I am. I work 3 days a week. Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
Okay.
I'm in wine sales.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's probably a good area. Now, is it wholesale, retail?
Well, what I do is I work for a wine distributor. So what I do is I go around to different stores and I pour samples of the wine. So
is it 1-to-1, pour one, drink one? No,
well, we can't drink on the job, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a really fun job. I've been doing it for a long time, and it's really easy, and the money's pretty good. So I just keep doing it.
So I see a couple of people that do the international collabs. Let's talk about those for a minute.
Okay.
So I see the Spice Queen is there.
Oh, hey,
Um,
Michelle.
she's a great supporter of my channel, is always on.
Yeah,
Really appreciate her support. So as I was kind of reviewing some of my favorite recipes of yours, the ones that stood out the most were the ones we've done on the international collabs.
Oh,
It
that's
was it
interesting.
was it was interesting that was wet. So I have like the Filipino stuffed pork buns.
Oh, yeah.
Not something you'd make on a
No,
weeknight.
never would make those. No.
Right. But to me, those international collabs are an opportunity to learn,
Yeah.
to do something a little different, walk outside your comfort zone.
That's exactly what it does. It forces you to try something you've never tried before, and usually it always tastes really good. I'm like, darn, how come I didn't know about this before?
Right. So one of my favorites that you did was the one you just did.
Oh, the
Um,
churros.
yes, churros with chocolate sauce. Yeah, hard not to like that.
Those were so good. I when I shot that video, I probably had 5 of them. I'm not gonna lie. I think I had 5 of those churros.
You mentioned that you might have to try them, and you did.
Yeah.
But they just looked fantastic. And the way you put it, that I was, it was interesting the way that you snip them off too, and I never even thought about. I mean, I guess that is the way you would have to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, or you could use a knife, but the kitchen scissors were easier.
Yeah.
Because I saw some videos where people were doing that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's easier than a knife. And so yeah, because the dough is actually really quite thick.
Uh huh.
So it's kind of hard to squeeze out.
I thought it might be a little airy, but it's not.
No,
No,
it's
it's
kind of
dense.
almost like a dough.
Okay. Well,
It's not really like a, it's sort of a cross between a batter and a dough, I would say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's Karen. I mean, yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone. That's good sometimes. Just making the same thing over and over again. It's like
Yeah,
watching the same
you kind
show.
of always gravitate.
There's another one.
General idea of general things you're going to make. So it's kind of nice to totally do something different.
And we're talking about our international collabs. Let's see another one I liked. Oh, the Filipino. Oh no, I don't. The beef kebabs from India.
Those are really good. Yeah.
And this month we have Peru.
Yeah. So I have no idea. I haven't even looked to see what I'm going to do yet. And a lot of things have already been taken. So I need to get on the internet and investigate.
Yeah. I'm doing a, they call it Papa Rienya, which is, it's stuffed with meat, potatoes that are stuffed with meat. So you kind of make a mashed potato and then you stuff meat in there and you fry them.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've never had Peruvian food before. So
is ceviche Peru?
I don't know. I think
it is
Mexican. I'm not sure.
I think it is. Because there's a couple Peruvian restaurants here, and I'm almost positive that well, I know one of them's named C Vice. It's C-Vice.
Oh yeah.
And the other one is just a Peruvian restaurant standalone. But I'm pretty sure that's ceviche is the ceviche is you got to spend a little money to buy the seafood.
You do, because you don't want to get bad seafood because
right.
it's raw. You're eating it raw.
We have I'm sure out in California, seafood is plentiful. In the Midwest, not so much. But I grew up on the Eastern Shore and grew up eating seafood. It was just you just ate seafood. But we belong to a CSA, of a seafood CSA.
Okay.
And they get shipped in monthly. It just depends. Thank you. Love my bloopers. And if there's one thing that I'm really good at doing these videos, it's bloopers. So this CSA, they send you a box every month, this big in dry ice,
Mm.
freeze dried, a lot of fish. This month it was Dungeness crab and
Yep.
cod. It's called Sitka salmon. So they like every other month, it's all salmon.
Oh, cool.
We had halibut last month. We've got sable fish, and then 25 different kinds of salmon here and there. So we get that once a month. But our freezer, we used to have this much, then we have this much, then we have this much. I've got to eat more fish.
Right.
So we literally, when we went to a dinner party a couple weeks ago, we took some frozen salmon as a hostess gift.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because we can't eat it all.
Right. Yeah, out here in California, it's Dungeness crab season. You can get cooked and clean crab for $5 a pound.
Really?
Yeah. And there's all kinds of crab feeds and stuff. Like where I live, we just had a crab feed, and then we're going to another one in a couple weeks. So yeah, it's a good season, good time for it.
I grew up in the Eastern Shore, and blue crabs are about as expensive as you can get right now. So that's interesting that Dungeness is not, I guess, not overfished and not over sourced.
Yeah, well, the season started late this year, but I don't really know why. But I guess now that the season is in swing, there's plenty of crabs, it appears to be.
All right, so there's this, I guess there's just a short season. I guess there isn't.
Well, it's generally like January through March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever had soft shell crabs?
Yes, I have.
So on the Eastern Shore, soft shells is a 6-week. It's this short.
Right.
You catch them at the right time.
Yep.
And once they're gone, they're gone. That's when they molt and they get rid of their shells. And I grew up with those.
Those are amazing. Yeah.
To this day, I'd love soft shells. I would eat them every day if I could. So I would go into a Vietnamese restaurant, I forget where, probably in DC, and they had fresh soft shell crabs. It's February. I said, no, you don't have fresh. There's zero chance you have fresh soft shell crabs. None. I ate them anyway.
Oh.
So are you on any other social media sites?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and TikTok, but I'm not really very active in those. Because I just kind of find I don't really have time to do everything.
Right.
So I just mainly focus on YouTube.
Do you repurpose your YouTube videos for TikTok?
Yeah, some of my shorts, yeah, I will put them on TikTok. Yeah.
Okay. I saw that you used to have a Facebook page.
I used to. Yes.
It's still there, by the way.
I know, and I've been toying around with the idea to like get it back up and going again. But when I had my regular page plus that page, I was just couldn't keep up with both of them, so I just moved everything over just to my regular page. So yeah, but I might
your personal page.
Yeah, my personal page.
Okay, gotcha.
So but I might start it up again. We'll see.
Well,
it's so hard to do everything.
Well, there was a point where I was on 7 different ones.
Oh my goodness.
YouTube, my website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. And then Facebook and LinkedIn, I had a personal and a business. And I could never figure out Pinterest, so I dropped that.
Oh yeah, I couldn't figure that out either.
I said, how do you?
I don't know.
I don't either. So then Twitter, my website posts directly to Twitter. Okay. So I do it that way, but I don't spend a lot of time. Yeah. There's people that are getting thousands and thousands of views, and I'm getting tens and tens of views.
Right.
So again, I'm not spending a lot of time.
Yeah, I've never even joined Twitter, so I don't know anything about it. So.
But the Facebook, for me, it drives traffic to both my website and YouTube. So, and I have a personal one that I've had forever, and it's the way I keep in contact with my friends.
Right.
So it's not anything that years ago, um, I'd post anything, politics, sports.
Mm-hmm.
And then when politics got completely out of hand, I said, okay, I'm never posting another political anything
Right.
ever again. Not just, I don't care. Not doing it. Um, but it's, I still do a little sports here and there because I'm a sports guy.
Yeah.
And that's where you get to see your kids who
Right.
probably block you to begin with, so they can and keep up with friends' birthdays and
Exactly.
yeah. So that's what that's there for. But mostly it's a website and YouTube is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So, are you a one-person crew?
I am now.
Okay. You do the editing.
I do everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The first year I had my channel, my husband, Chris, he was my cameraman and editor, and he helped me with everything. But then he got too busy at work. So he couldn't do it anymore. And I was almost going to quit my channel because I knew nothing about filming or editing or any of that stuff because I'm very technically challenged. I don't understand any of that stuff. And but then I just had to teach myself. So and I just use iMovie. It's not like he used DaVinci Resolve,
Yeah, I
which
use
is
that.
like very complicated to me. So I couldn't figure that out. So I just use the iMovie editing system and use that.
Well, it's not rocket science. It's real. I mean, I don't.
Apparently not because I figured it out.
We're editing cooking videos. So right. We're not going for an Academy Award or SAG Award. We're having a little fun. Right. I use DaVinci Resolve, and yeah, there's some parts of it that are a little hard for me, but for the most part, it's I'm doing the same over again. But it is to do it on your own. Excuse me.
Yeah, it would
so
be
you
so
learn
much
this thing.
Yeah, it's much easier if someone's filming for you because they can get all the different angles where it's kind of tough on your own. But.
Well, I learned a little something from the dude that I would see him here, and then all of a sudden you'd see his whatever he's cooking,
right?
And then you come back to his face. I think, oh, how's he doing that? Two cameras? No, he's just zooming in and zooming out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I said, how did I never figure that out before?
Yeah. But a lot of people do use two cameras.
Yeah.
So they can get different angles, but I don't have two cameras, so.
Well, I have a guy that he can't say he consults. I pay him to help me out every once in a while with technical stuff. And he's saying, well, you could use two cameras. You got one over here and you one here, and you do this. And then you from here, you download this to there, and then you do that.
Yes. It's so complicated.
That's beyond my
yeah.
My
and I used to do a lot of live streams like first year of my channel because that's the way you can get watch hours. But so we used to use two different cameras because my husband would help me, and we would look, you'd get a shot of the food and then he'd pan over to just me like making it, and but now I don't do lives anymore, so.
Well, I stole this idea from Tom Garvey, who he said, I want to do a lot more one-on-ones with people and just have more instead of having, a big group. And I said, I like that idea because there's people that, I watch and I like, and I think, well, they'd be interesting to talk with because there's always a backstory behind the person in front of the camera. And I like to just chat a little bit and get a little more interesting information from people. So thank you for doing this.
Of course. Yeah.
When you put out a video, do you have a goal, or you just said, this is the video I put out and okay, the next week I'm going to do something else? Or are you saying, do you have any goal for it?
No, I don't really have a goal. I just kind of, something will pop into my head like, oh, that sounds really good. I'm going to make that. Or I look at my pantry. I'm like, oh, I have some of this and some of that. Or I look at my freezer. I'm like, I should use that up.
Finding my list of things that have popped into my head that I write down that say, oh, I got to get to that. I got to do
Right.
that.
I do that too. I have a little notebook and I write, oh yeah, I want to make this and this and this. And then, and the thing is, sometimes I don't want to do too many like desserts in a row, or
Right.
so I try to space it out to where like one week I'll do a dessert and the next week I'll do like a main dish, or,
Right.
you know, so.
If you're like we are, which is not a subject driven channel,
Right.
that you don't want to do the same thing week after week after week, because then it's kind of redundant.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Well, like my most popular videos are actually my air fryer and my crock pot videos. So I kind of thought, well, maybe I should just focus on that, but then I never seem to. I just kind of go all over the place.
Tom, are your ears burning? We're just talking about you.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, the air fryer. I have one, but it's in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
That I never really used it, but I know that it's a cleaner way to eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's
simple. It cooks faster.
Yeah. So I'm going to think about getting another one for here. But the one my brother-in-law sent it to us, and it looked like a half a keg. It's huge.
Yeah, some of them are pretty big.
This one was huge, and I said, where can we store this? And living in an apartment now, there's no room for anything.
Yeah, luckily we have a big garage, so we have shelving that I can put stuff on. We
have a big garage, except there's 200 cars parked in it.
Oh yeah, not that kind of garage.
So that doesn't help. No, but what did I just see? Oh, I know what I saw you do. The air fryer Oreos.
Mm-hmm.
A while ago.
Yeah, those were interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just seen it on TikTok, and I was like, I wonder how that would taste. And so they actually were pretty good.
So the lemonies.
Yes.
Which are brownies that are like, we call them, and there's a long time part of it is lemon squares, but it sounds like they're similar but a little different. But that's
yeah, they are similar, but they're not made with a custard.
Okay.
So you know how lemon squares have like a lemon curd that's cooked on the top? Well, this is just more like a dense kind of brownie cake consistency, but it has like a lot of lemon flavor to it.
So is it a lemon cake and then with some butter and?
It's a lemon cake, but it doesn't have any leavening.
Oh,
so
okay.
it becomes more of like a brownie texture.
Uh-huh.
And then I put like a really tiny lemon glaze on the top, so it's super lemony if you like that sort of thing. I've made them a few times for people, and a lot of people have asked me for the recipe, so that I brought them to. So people seem to like them.
Well, that's something I'd like to try, because I do love lemon squares, and they end up lasting about 6 hours. After they've been cooked, unless you hide them.
Right, exactly. They do.
So
they freeze really well, though. You can freeze some.
Yes. So I'd like to try that. Just as something similar but different.
Similar but different. Mm-hmm.
And that's it. So do you are you one of those people, like I am, goes to restaurants and eats something and said, "Ooh, I'd like to make that. Try to make that at home. Try to reproduce that."
I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you obnoxious like me and call the chef and ask him for the recipe?
No, I've actually never done that. I just kind of try to recreate it with what I think might be in it.
Well, most of the stuff that I've recreated, it's not a burger. So I did up in Michigan. There's a place called Martha's Table, and he has a vegan shepherd's pie.
Mm.
And I looked at. I was turned off immediately from the word vegan. I said, "No, I'm not going to eat that." But then I looked at the ingredients, and every single one in there is something I would eat by itself.
Right.
Well, starting with mashed potatoes.
Sure.
Chickpeas.
Carrot.
I mean, it was all. I said, "How bad can this be?" So I ordered it, and it was delicious. Mm-hmm. And but I couldn't quite figure out how they got to the point of making it. So I called the chef, and he was nice enough to walk me step by step. Frozen peas, of course, are in there. One of the world's greatest inventions.
Right. Do you know that's so funny? I cannot stand canned peas.
Oh yeah.
They're so gross. And they're like gray looking and smushy.
Yeah.
Only frozen I can eat. Only frozen.
Frozen peas, greatest invention. One of the greatest inventions.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so this guy, he walked me through it. And I said, okay, well, he had some interesting ingredient, like he used miso and
right, sure,
stuff that's not
typically used in
right.
Yeah.
But it just kind of worked, and I made it a couple times, and so I don't hate all vegan food.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna make some vegan recipes because some of my watchers have been asking me if I can make some. So
yeah, I think that vegan, vegetarian, keto, I think that they all obviously have a audience, and
exactly.
But I can figure out vegetarian.
Yeah.
For the most part, except some guy yelled at me because I said Parmesan is vegetarian. And said, oh no, it's not, because it's made with the whey of beef something or other.
Really?
Yes, there's a byproduct that's used to make Parmesan cheese. So I forget what it is. Tom Garvey knows. He can tell us. No, I 100% know he knows. But so he yelled at me so this isn't vegetarian. I think it was like eggplant parm.
Oh.
Under vegetarian. No, it's not vegetarian.
Yeah. Yeah, every once in a while you'll get comments like that. I know.
I ignore them. I say, well,
yeah, I've had some pretty rude comments before about correcting me on things.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
the more subscribers you have, the more people feel they can comment on things.
I try to be, if I'm going to be disrespectful, I try to be respectful on the back end. Said, oh, why are you doing that? I really don't understand this, but it really looks delicious.
Right. Yeah, there's a way you can say it without being rude.
Right. Well,
you know what? When they leave a rude comment, I just kill them with kindness. I'm like, oh, well, thank you so much for watching, and this is the reason I did this, and I don't delete their comment or anything.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. So we learned in politics is just thank you for your comment, thank you for your time, and move on. And
yeah. And sometimes I will have rude comments just because of my name.
Oh.
Because they're like, oh, you're such a Karen, that sort of thing, which isn't fair. I don't know why anybody picked that name to pick on.
Well, there was a woman. Well, you know what the story is. But I just saw. What show did I just see? It's a YouTuber. Do you know Cocktail Tony?
Yes.
So Cocktail Tony's wife is Karen,
right?
And he's always making Karen jokes. You're such a Karen. He said, I am Karen.
Right. Yeah, I know, but it's been going on for a few years now too, and it's getting old sometimes.
I can imagine for you. Yeah. Probably not fun. And then
yeah, it's all good though.
I don't know about that. So what do you cook for yourself when you just
by myself?
Yeah.
Well, something very easy, just like pasta or an omelet, or I don't cook anything fancy if it's just for me.
Yeah.
But my husband, he eats keto mostly, so I cook a lot of meat for him. Like pork tenderloin, or I have a sous vide machine, which I'm obsessed with. So I do a lot of steaks and roasts in there. So
that's another one that I want to get. My son has one, and
you got to get it. It's a game changer.
Do you know Stelly?
Yes, I've seen him use that. I've seen him use it in a lot of different recipes. And I'm like, He was one of the main reasons I wanted to get one.
Yeah, he's a big sous vide guy.
Mm,
So, and that's one of the things that restaurants use. I'm sure you know.
that's right. Yeah.
That's how you you can serve 300 steaks and
Mm-hmm.
uh,
And have them
unless
all
you,
come out to the same
yeah,
temperature.
or close enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's another one. Again, no counter space.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will in our new house, hopefully.
Well, the great thing about my sous vide machine is it's just like an immersion blender kind of. It's very small.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a little stick blender, and you can just attach it to any kind of pot. You don't have to have a special one from them, and so it's very compact. So it's really easy.
You have to, but you have to seal it, right?
Yeah, you do have to have the sealing bags. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I can see what you're saying. So you're putting the mechanism into a bag and then sealing the bag with the food in.
No, I'm putting the mechanism into a pot, like a stock pot.
Okay.
And then I take the Ziploc looking bag and I
Right.
put the meat in there and I seal it up with a vacuum sealer.
Right.
And I just put that bag of meat into the stock pot.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And then you turn on the sous vide machine and it circulates the water around.
Well, that's I'll have to investigate that because that I would use that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have the tabletop to put a.
No. You don't want the big one.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's so easy.
What's the brand name that you use?
It's called Anova.
Innova?
Anova.
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 Okay. I'm gonna write it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can get them for $99.
Yeah, I'd like to.
It's well worth it. It is well worth it. I take like just like a tough piece of meat, like an eye of round or something, and I cook it in there for like 15 hours, and it just melts in your mouth. It's so tender. It's crazy.
So I see a lot of people that I'm not aware. I think they're probably Karen. You probably know. So Forensic Mystics, hello. Spice Queen, love you. Stephen and Jacqueline, great supporters of my channel.
Hey, Stephen.
Who else is on here that I missed? Appreciate you guys.
I think Wendy's on there. I think I saw Simply Wendy. Wendy is my almost neighbor. Do you know Simply Wendy, her channel?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she has a great channel. She does a lot of baking on her channel, but she does regular recipes too. And she lives 30 minutes from me.
Really?
Yeah, so we've gotten together.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to. There's a couple guys that I follow that are semi close, like Dicking Around the Outdoors. The guy that I follow, he's up in Kalkaska, Michigan, which is it's in the same. It's within shouting distance of where our place is up there. Nope. And Polly Detmers.
Yeah, I know Polly.
He's in Michigan, but he's in Detroit. So he's
right.
I'm trying to get him to come across the state and hang out. But he's in the Philippines right now.
I know.
He's having a great time.
You know Mitch and Philip, right?
Uh-huh.
They just moved to my town.
Oh, really?
We live 2 miles from each other. They moved from San Francisco to where I live, and they just moved in last week.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So you have to do a
we're going to get together and do like a video.
Well, that's what Tom wants to do. He wants to do a cook with a live cook with somewhere. It have to be live because you can record these things.
Yeah.
But cooking with someone, doing one part or the other. That's something that I'd want to do as I get further along. I just like the interaction.
Mm-hmm. It's so fun. Yeah.
It's in these live chats that we have. I love chatting with people and you're getting to meet new people, and that's part of what I do. It's a commingling of our channels. We do obviously have a lot of the same subscribers and supporters, but there's a bunch that I have that you don't have live. So we try to get
exactly
a little good.
Yeah, that's the main reason I keep doing YouTube is because of all the great people I meet. Because sometimes you don't want to you don't feel like making a video, or you just get burned out, but then you're like, oh, I want to keep doing it because they're such nice people.
Well, I have I've stumbled on this cooking with community leaders on my channel.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you. But I don't really do anything except set the camera up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I throw a bunch of softball questions to people I know. They're they're people that I know personally, and then they cook something, and then I get to eat it.
Right? Yeah, that's a win-win.
And then I film it and I put it on YouTube, like I'm some genius.
I love it.
But it's fun. But for me, it's a chance to for people who toil in relative obscurity, if you can be one of the top power brokers in the city and be in obscurity, but what they do day to day isn't really talked about. And that's what I like to get to, is how they're helping to make our city, which in many respects is a very poor city. We have a dichotomy of our city, east and west. On the east side of the Milwaukee River, Chicago and Milwaukee are very similar, that they have access from Lake Michigan, comes up both the Chicago and the Milwaukee rivers. It runs up and then runs through north. So in Milwaukee, on the east side, so between the river and Lake Michigan, very affluent, very high end stuff. Mm-hmm. But the farther west you go, it's a very, very poor city, and it has its own issues within the city that people are trying to affect change. So
that's like San Francisco. You know, there's so many different parts of it that are really nice, but then you go a little bit further and there's just massive homelessness.
Yeah. So that's what I try to do, is to shine a little light on some of these people trying to affect change. And it's not that cooking fajitas on a Saturday morning in my building is going to affect change, but it's hoping people think a little bit and
sure. Yeah, I think it's
want to contribute, or I don't know. So what's for dinner tonight?
I am making orange chicken in the crock pot.
Ooh.
And I'm videotaping it right now.
Thighs or breasts?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I tasted a little.
Do you use chicken thighs or chicken breasts?
Well, I use the thighs because that's what we like. But 100%. I got this recipe from Dolores over at the Baking Diva, her channel. And I told her I would make a video, but I would use chicken thighs to see if it came out okay. And it did. It's really good.
Yeah, chicken. I have almost stopped using chicken breasts for anything.
Well, I use them for certain things like chicken piccata or chicken marsala, but if you pound them flat and they get pretty tender. But otherwise, I don't like regular chicken breasts kind of thick because they dry out.
Yeah. Now, chicken thighs are harder to dry out. Mm-hmm. They're easier to cook. They're more forgiving. They got more taste.
Exactly.
So chicken thighs is almost exclusively.
We use chicken thighs like 95% of the time. Yeah. We buy them in huge bulk at Costco.
We're aligned there. Yeah. I'm running out of freezer space, so I can't.
Yeah. Luckily we
two fridges, two freezers.
Yeah. Luckily, we have a big refrigerator freezer in our garage. Otherwise, we'd be in big trouble.
Yeah. Well, you're still young enough that we downsize because what I call age appropriate housing. Mm-hmm. There's no maintenance.
Right.
It snowed half a foot the other day. I said, I didn't care. I was going to shovel it.
Right.
No yard work, which I kind of miss. I love yard work. Yeah. But it's a different lifestyle. One story. I'm right by the elevator. We've got a gym in the building.
Yeah. Well, that sounds kind of like where I live, because I live in a 55 and over retirement community.
Oh, really?
And we live in one level. We have lands. We have gardeners. We don't do the yard. We have a community center and all that. So it sounds kind of similar with a gym.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you got to get off my lawn. I love Tom Garvey. Um, get off my lawn, you kids.
That's
Uh,
right.
but yeah, no, so to downsize it takes um, a certain amount of personal fortitude to say
Yeah.
all this crap I've accumulated my entire life, I gotta get rid of it.
Yeah.
Until you reach that point
Mm-hmm.
in your life, and you are okay with getting rid of the crap you accumulated for 30 plus years, it's hard to move on. But once you do that, it's okay.
It's very freeing, actually.
Yes, it is. And I don't miss my big house at all.
Mm-hmm.
I must
How
say,
many square feet is where you live now?
1,400.
Okay, so it's a decent size. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's the same 5 rooms we had in our 3,800 square feet house.
Isn't it funny? You only use this a few rooms anyway, right? I know, because we had a 4-bedroom house. Well, 2 of the bedrooms we never went into.
Right. That's what we had. My boys each had their own bedroom, and they had their own bathroom, so we never used those.
Yeah.
We had used the living room, kitchen. We had a TV room.
Yeah.
And we got 2 bedrooms here. This is my office.
Mm-hmm.
Which is one of the bedrooms. 2 bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
A den, which is a second office, and living room, great room. So same rooms that I use. Yep. A third of the size.
That sounds exactly like where our house is now.
So did you have to buy all new furniture?
We did.
Yes, so did we. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, because we had like a huge leather sectional, so in our old house. So
right, it wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of I don't know why I'm getting excited about this. Transformer sleeper sofas?
Yeah, I think I've heard of them. Yeah.
They pull out.
It looks like a chair or a couch, and then
it's right here behind me. Let me see if I can do this. So all it is you pull it.
Okay. Yeah. I have seen those.
Now it's a bed, and all I have to do is.
Wow.
So the reason I brought that up is because we had to look for furniture that would fit the space.
Yes.
And because of the way this thing works, it's more compact. Mm-hmm. And then when you unroll it into being a bed, it's about 10 inches shorter, which fit into our much smaller room.
That's perfect. And then when you're not using it as a bed, you can use it as a couch.
Yeah, it is good. But this is the second bedroom, and this is just for if we have guests.
Right.
Of which we've had 2 so far since.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
we don't get a lot of guests at our house.
No, figure that out. So I wanted to. Let me see. There's a couple others that I would. Oh, the bolognese sauce, and the reason I wanted to talk about the bolognese sauce is because you said it right.
Oh. Yeah.
That's another Tom Garvey.
I don't think I've heard it pronounced any other way.
You'd be surprised, like bruschetta.
Right. Yeah. Bruschetta.
Well, you're in the restaurant business, so you know it.
I know. I've heard it all kinds of different ways.
Yeah. Bruschetta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was, the sauce looked delicious to me, and I'm so much of an Italian food snob. I'm way over here as a snob for Italian food. So.
Right. Well, because you're Italian.
I am Italian, and you shouldn't be as snobby as I am, but I am. So, what can I say? And really, what irks me is when people say this is an authentic Italian dish, and they put in orange juice. I said, no.
I know. I never say in my recipes authentic. I never say that. I just say this is my version.
Yeah.
So that way, I'm not
fine with that.
Something.
I wouldn't yell at you if you said that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's exactly my philosophy. If they say authentic, I got a problem with that because I didn't.
Me too.
But if you say this is my version, I go,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I like, and then Karen in the kitchen with Karen. Yes. Yes. So for those of you who've joined us late, probably going to wrap up somewhat soon. This is Karen from In the Kitchen with Karen. She's got a great channel you should be checking out. She has promised to start doing more cocktail videos. I heard you promise that.
I will.
Okay. So good for all of us that we get to do that. She's got a great range of everything. And there's several of Nan and the Spice Queen and a couple others. We do these international collabs monthly. And we actually, if someone is interested in joining us, we do a different country every month. Last month we did, who did we do last month?
We did, oh my gosh.
It was a whole month ago. It was a whole day ago. Spain.
Oh, Spain.
We did Foods of Spain. And this month coming up, we're doing Peru.
And then the month before that, we did Brazil.
We did Brazil. And we have fun with it. There's stuff that we wouldn't normally cook. You got to do a little research. You got to maybe get some ingredients. Like I got red palm oil, which I will probably never use for anything else again.
Oh, wow.
For Brazil. But if people are interested, get one of us. Oh, thank you. In joining these international collabs, you don't really have to do anything because Sandy from Mayaji's Kitchen does everything. And she just kind of puts out, and you tell her what you're going to make, and she says, "Great."
She does the rest.
Right. So it's one of the easiest things that you do, other than making the dish. So, anyone interested, give either Karen or myself a jingle, and we'll get you hooked up with Sandy and get you into our international collabs.
Yeah, my email's in my about section. So.
All right. So now that you have settled in your semi old people retired. Hello.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Is that my internet going out?
I think it's your internet.
Yeah, one of our internets is. I was asking you if you're doing any travel. Now that you're living in your semi-retired old people's place.
Right. Well, we love to travel. We love to travel. We've done a lot of traveling, but the past year or so we haven't done any traveling because we have really elderly dogs and they're kind of having some health issues. So we can't really go on any trips right now, except for maybe like an overnight trip. Yeah, so it's been kind of a bummer.
Is it local? I mean, domestic or international travel?
Both. Yeah. We like to go to Mexico a lot. But
driving?
No, we fly. My parents live in Puerto Vallarta, so we go there quite a bit. I
have a good friend here in Milwaukee who's got a place in Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, well, they live there full time. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They just got their green card
for Mexico.
Yeah, they're real citizens now because they used to vacation there all the time, but then they sold their house in Napa Valley and moved there permanently because they love it so much.
Okay, so you've been there a couple times?
Oh, I've been there 15 times.
Okay, so out in the water, there's a piece of rock that's large and it's got a big hole in it.
Yeah, it's called Los Arcos.
That's my friends are directly across from that.
Okay, yeah, they live right down. They're very close to that.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to go again.
Yeah, it's really nice there, especially the old part of Puerto Vallarta.
Oh yeah,
they call it the Romantica Zone. They have just great restaurants and bars and nightlife, and it's really fun.
Do they? The driving there is a little.
They don't have a car. They're in their 80s. They don't drive there.
They take cabs into town.
Yeah. Well, they're in town. They're right in downtown. So they don't really, the only time they take a cab is to go to like Costco or something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's
they can walk to any place mostly.
Well, that's great. Mm-hmm. See what else I wanted to ask you. Oh, The other one that last one that I'll ask you about, it's the Hawaiian chicken meatballs. Now, I
Yeah,
think chicken is one of the best, especially ground chicken, is a great one because it just absorbs so much flavor.
exactly. Yeah. Now that was an interesting recipe because it was one of my pantry collaboration challenges
Uh-huh.
where I had to use only things from the pantry. You can't use any fresh vegetables or fruits or anything. So I had to use canned chicken. But I think they'd honestly be better with ground chicken because the canned chicken's already cooked. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, they were still really good, but if I had to do it over and I wasn't just using everything from the pantry, I would use a pound of ground chicken as a replacement.
Is that chicken of the sea?
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of like chicken of the sea,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh, that's that I love creative dishes like that where there's different flavors. I mean, using a base of something that you know, but you're adding flavors on the other side, and then anything meatballs. I'm pretty much there.
Yeah, me too. And the sauce was really good. And I like pineapple in savory dishes. Some people don't, but I really do. Like I'm pro pineapple pizza. So you know.
There's a DiGiorno commercial that goes, I don't know, who knows it? Come on, that's not pizza. Talking about pineapple on pizza. Now,
Yeah, that's always the big debate,
Tom Darby, what about pizza? Pineapple on pizza?
He's probably like, no.
Well, he's from Jersey, so I can tell you right now.
Oh, probably definitely no.
Yeah.
Out here in California, it's very popular.
Tom, you ever had a slice with pineapple on it? I know the answer. Let's see. Well, I think that's I'm about out of dumb questions to ask. There's thank you for.
Thanks for having me. It was really fun.
Spice Queen, we got to do something about. No. That's not pizza. Come on, that's not pizza.
Yeah, I knew he was going to say that.
But in many respects, pasta and pizza lend themselves to being able to put just about anything on them.
It's true. Yeah, I was involved in another challenge. It was called the Wild and Wacky Challenge, and somebody made chocolate pasta with chocolate sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked pretty good, and she said it tasted good. So,
well, I mean, it's chocolate.
Yeah, right. You can't go wrong.
There's a cookbook I had years ago. I don't have it anymore. You know where Gilroy is? Gilroy, California.
Oh yeah, I sure do.
Well, Gilroy is, as you know, the garlic capital of the world.
Yeah.
And there was a cookbook that I had. It was a little paperback one called the Garlic Lovers Cookbook.
I think I have that.
It's got garlic on the cover. It's maybe 6x8 or whatever it is. But one of the things in the dessert was chocolate covered garlic.
And you know what? I used to go through Gilroy all the time because my son used to live in Carmel before he moved to San Francisco. So every other week I would go through Gilroy. And when you drive through it, it smells just like garlic bread. The whole town smells like garlic.
Yeah.
And they have this little place. Well, it's not little, but they have this store called Garlic World. And they have every kind of garlic product you can possibly imagine. And they have chocolate covered garlic and garlic ice cream. And we tried the garlic ice cream. It was horrible. Those are just two things that do not belong together.
Right. Yeah, I think they encourage that in Gilroy. But I think I might draw the line.
It was not a good combo.
You can see why the chocolate covered garlic might work.
Maybe. But not the ice cream.
You can't see where the ice cream would work. Yeah,
it's horrible.
Right. Well, Karen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time, chit-chatting about the stuff that we do. It's something we love.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be doing it week after week after week after week after week.
Right.
Please watch our international collab videos. A lot of you, Stephen and Jacqueline, you guys show up all the time on watching those on Saturday mornings when we have them. We do appreciate it. And if like I say, anyone's interested, give one of us a call. We'll get you in, and we can do the Foods of Peru at the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
So, any final words, ma'am?
Just thank you for having me. Thanks everybody for being here.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you taking the time. We will converse more. I will see you in Peru at the end of March, and have a great. What did you say you were having for dinner? Are you having?
We're having orange chicken.
Orange chicken, right? I'm jealous. I'm having fish because that's what's in the freezer. Like,
right, you have a lot of fish.
I'm having cod with sweet potato. That's
yummy.
My wife is out of town for a week, so I'm.
Oh, okay. You're bacheloring it.
I'm bacheloring. Yeah, we were in San Antonio last week. She broke her wrist, so I had to go I was her valet.
Oh
but she didn't break it there. She broke it a month ago.
Oh.
And she's still having trouble with her right hand. So I went to help her out, and I said, I can't travel 2 weeks in a row. So she was home for a day and a half and left Sunday morning. She'll be back this weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, all right then.
I'll live. All righty.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Bye. Okay, bye everybody.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay.
We'll see y'all.
Okay, bye.